Yeah, everybody. Today at Phil's house, we're doing electrical. Everyone's favorite. So, on this bike, I know my front headlight does not work. And we have determined that a lot of this wiring here is questionable. So, we're going to kind of tear into this, fix a lot of this up. Of course, I also don't have any ignition, but before I start chasing that down, I want to make sure everything I know is straight on the rest of electrical. Whenever you're buying a used motorcycle, one big red flag when you're looking it over is electrical. So, one thing to watch out for is wire nuts, as you shouldn't be tying anything up with a wire nut. Get corrosion, rainwater, all kind of stuff in there. So, you want to make sure all your connections are sealed up good and nice. A lot of things that are taped up also, so probably not a bad idea to go ahead and look into these, make sure we don't have anything crazy going on, and retape them if need be. Some of this is going to be deleted anyway. As I'm not putting a fairing back on this bike, so a lot of stuff I won't need. You got all kinds of issues in here. You look along this wire, you see nothing but breaks in it where it can ground on things. And it's been tied here. Goes back in the harness up to there. Turn signal here, which is not connected. Bike that's been sent, it also doesn't hurt to go ahead and unplug everything, at least plug it back in or hit with electrical contact cleaner. These connections all get corrosion on them, and gotta go through it, get all the connections cleaned up again. So I printed out a bunch of pages from the factory service manual, which is critical for this because you can test every single part of your electrical system, know what the values are. Therefore, you really don't have to go replacing parts if you don't have to, because you know how they're supposed to be behaving. Voltage ranges, resistance. They'll tell you all that stuff in here. So you want to level up from being a parts changer to a mechanic. Be able to read these things and understand how to test stuff. Take you to the next level. So we should have our headlight harness here. Which we got 2 position lights. Actually, front right turn signal is separate, and then we got headlight right, position light, headlight left, and front turn signal left, all off of this one connector. So first thing I want to ascertain is what this little brown wire and black and white go to, because I'll probably won't be needing that. That's going to be a position light. And that brown circuit goes up and around back to our license plate light. So we don't want to kill power to our license plate light. go in here and make sure it also ties into power source. Gets its power from the ignition switch. Therefore, I should be able to delete this brown wire altogether. This power is still supplied to the rest of the system, so we don't need that. So, in case we need auxiliary wire, let's go ahead and snip this guy off. If we need a hot, we have a hot. And let's see what other triggers we have here. So I'm just running a single headlight. So in order for this bike to run, you have to have clutch pulled in and or transmission neutral through neutral safety switch. That all ties in with black and white wire. Well, got black and white wire runs up here and all this mangled mess. So I could very well have an ignition issue from this black and white wire grounding off up here in front of the bike. So this could very well be my my ignition issue right here. So let's get this thing buttoned up and see what happens. It could be that simple, hopefully. So I'm just gonna clip these and start over fresh on my headlight connection. Not entirely sure which one is less janky just yet. So that's not too bad. Probably go ahead and use this one. You can get these universally too, pretty easily. I might even have one, but I couldn't tell you where it is in my shop, so faster just to use what I got in hand. If you're stripping wires, don't get the cheap ass wire stripper that will bend in 2 seconds and cause you more heartache than anything else. Get a decent set of wire strippers, hold together, strip so much easier. So we're going to skip forward here a little bit. I got a lot of wiring tied up, cleaned up, and hooked up my turn signals. I got one signal that doesn't want to come on whatsoever, so could be a bad signal. I'll have to look into that. But we do have some power going on now. I went ahead and also tucked away my wiring for the most part back here in the frame, as far as all large connectors and whatnot. So we'll kind of tie that up and get it out of the way once we get a little bit further. But as for now, we got headlight, we got a running light, got a left turn signal, so it's just right turn signal we need to work on. But that's a lot further along than what we had before. Got a bright. So now we got all that. Also went ahead and re-hooked up our clutch safety switch. So now, if we notice on the side of the bike, our neutral safety switch is spliced together. So in theory, this bike should start without the clutch pulled in. But we got nothing. Therefore, our neutral safety switch might not be saying it really is closed loop. Now I should be able to start this just pulled in, perhaps. Okay, so let's see where we're at now. Hey guys, so the other day, working on the bike, trying to get my wiring tied up, and ran into an issue where I kept blowing fuses. And the only thing that changed is I hooked up one turn signal and I moved the wiring harness here inside the frame. So I'm going to assume that I have a section of harness that has exposed wire. So I'm going to pull this harness back out again, pull the loom off it, and kind of check and make sure all the wires look good. That way, try to determine why we're blowing fuses. Other possibility is the turn signal itself, but I'm thinking more than likely when I moved the harness, I exposed a exposed wire, or grounded a already exposed wire, and that's why I'm blowing fuses. So I'm just going to kind of go over it, double check it. So one thing I've learned over time is whenever you're trying to find a problem, the first place you want to look is the last thing that someone touched before you. Oftentimes, the biggest failure points you're going to find are going to be something someone else engineered. Japanese are very good about engineering things, putting them together, make them where they're pretty foolproof. So usually the fool is going to be whoever mess with it last. So I'm going through this, and already I see that this loom has been apart once before. Someone spliced wires in here before. So this is not factory here. And now we need to second guess what was done, why it was done, and if any of this stuff is still intact. Another big giveaway too, you look back here in the tail section, of course you got a broken wire. But also hit up for these trailer lights that they use for turn signals. So tells me he knew enough about electrical to modify things, and now I need to question the electrical just because it's been touched before. Who knows what happened to it in the accident? So now I need to deduce what all's going on with everything. So upon further inspection, things may not be as crazy as I thought. I'm thinking these here are going to be factory splices. I've seen a few done the same way all over a bike, and it's where they tag on something, and then they just throw some tape on and throw it in a loom. But I'm going to go ahead and at least retape these, make sure they're all connected good and copper looks good. Just kind of go through and freshen them up. Probably delete some stuff like this plug, which should be for, I guess, auxiliary fan of some sort. Just hangs off the side of the bike. Tidy everything up a little bit. Now I do notice now all this wiring looks clean up until you get in here. It's very dirty, a lot of dirt trapped in here. So I'm wondering if a bike was laying on its side at some point on this end of it. So kind of fine-tooth comb through that, make sure it all looks good. And then aside from that, just kind of double check everything. And then get some more of the plastic loom to go on this. It's the electrical tape. Get it all nice and pretty again. Go from there, see if I can find any issues. So I've gone through and tidied everything up. I haven't found anything conclusively wrong with the wiring. So disconnected my turn signals on the one side, and so we're going to throw another fuse in it, see if it pops off or not. If so, then it might just be the internal of the turn signal itself grounding off somewhere it's not supposed to, causing me to pop fuses. So we will see. was not doing it now. So that's good news. Turn signals still don't work. Probably bad. Oh well. Amazon for you. So while we're in here, I need to reevaluate this situation because we got heavy gauge speaker wire in here, wire nuts. Got resistors in here which don't show resistors on your wiring diagram, and more than likely is just to make those LED turn signals work. So I'm gonna be using an LED capable flasher, which I just ordered, so I don't need resistors if I have an LED capable flasher. Just need to wire them direct. So time to dig into this now. Alright, so we got all the resistors and everything pulled out. So now all that junk on the floor, that's gone. Also took off the little bracket, goes here because unless somebody needs to hold on to it, don't need it. In a way, looks ugly. It's gone. So also while I was at it, went in my shop, found some old galvanized bracket, cut it up. See if we can use this for holding my new turn signals. So we'll go from there. Just for record, I made sure to measure 0 and cut once. You know, that way everything's nice and good and correct, uniform. So yeah, come at me with tape measure, it'll be wrong, but it will do the job. Alright, so I've been out here for a while trying to go through this wiring, make sure everything's good. Figured out that if I plug in my clutch switch, I blow a fuse. Being as that's a ground connection, I'm not too sure how that's feasible, but whatever. So I tied up the wires like the guy had them before on the clutch and the kickstand switch, and then unplugged my CDI, plugged it back in, and now let's see if there's any life to be had. And yes, I also broke my throttle cable in the process, amongst messing with stuff. I'll take that all day. And here we go. So we have a running bike with lights, and we are just about all set to take this thing out riding. Thank y'all for watching Phil's House. We'll see y'all next time.